So the reason you're struggling with getting more distance in your golf game is because you're trying to use your bigger muscles in your body. We see this all the time with our students.
Yes.
And what we figured out in all the testing and all the testing we've done with our students is that the speed comes from the smaller muscles in the hands, in the wrists.
Yes.
So in this video, we're going to walk you through how to activate and get those smaller muscles doing what they need to do to get the maximum club head speed in your golf game.
Exactly.
All right, so let's talk about just some of the most common faults that we see from students that are trying to like use the big muscles to hit the ball far, and then talk about like what we recommend as coaches to fix it.
Sure. Okay.
What are the most common faults that we're seeing if we're just setting up to like a drive here?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is that the elbows are not properly connected to the body, meaning that they're not like properly connected together. They're too bent. And then what that leads to is an improper connection to the club, which then in swing causes for a tendency to, in the backswing, we'll say laterally move too much, sway coming through. And when you look at this, again, he's using more of the big muscles, but the hands and the handle and the club are not moving fast. Everything's trying to move fast up here, but the big muscles do not move in a fast way.
So everything's just moving in like one unit.
Exactly,
basically.
right. And again, when you look at club speed, like you can literally, when you think about it, if you imagine that your club was like an extension from your sternum and you tried to like turn as fast as you could, how fast is the club going to move that way, opposed to the hands and arms just basically moving. And that is really what we're trying to get in this video, because again, when it looks at lateral movement, all these other problems, not being able to create speed, it's like it's all stemmed from not using the hands and arms properly.
I'm going to hit one doing this.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see what happens. There, that's a perfect like demonstration of exactly, and I love the finish too. That's what we see with so many people too. Moving forward, get that low, thin left or right shot.
Got my belt buckle towards the target, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The most common thing that we see. 208, real bomb.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I don't want to see that ever again. We see that too much as coaches.
Yes.
Let's fix that.
Okay.
What are the most common fixes that we recommend?
So the first thing is how we basically address the golf club. So like we want to make sure that the golf club is vertical when we grip it. So we get our claws concentrated on there, and when we do this, we want to lock the elbows straight away. And when you lock the elbows, it helps support the weight of the golf club like this. If your elbows were bent, like we'll say like this, I mean, yeah, you can get the club to be vertical, but it doesn't make as much sense. Yeah, the wrists don't have as much support.
So like we said in the podcast, you want to get underneath the club, like
to support the balance of the club, exactly, because the club is vertical. It's like in a sense weightless, as long as we support this pressure. Now from here, if we keep this pressure, bend forward from the hips properly, we have already established the locked elbows. So from there, basically, we're going to maintain the pressure that we have created here. We're going to...
So right now it feels like it's barely in my hands.
Because we have the perfect claw connection. Because we're gripping the club in the fingers because of the way that we address the golf club. If the elbows are bent, or if the club's on the ground and we grip the club, the elbows will tend to be separated and we don't have that pressure throughout the swing, so we have nothing really to work with from there. If we establish this pressure, we basically just maintain this the entire swing, and then we just lever back and then let it release through. But we have to keep this concentrated pressure of like this connection and address of the locked elbows the entire swing.
So a simple way to think about this is that we're trying to get this far away so the fingers are like loose.
Yes, and when we activate the palms, think of it as you have then connection to the handle of the golf club. Then the fingers can work around the palms, which is how the handle and the club head work basically. So like palms are handle control, club head is like controlled by the fingers.
Got it. I barely feel like it's in my hands now.
Correct. And maintain that throughout the entire swing now.
Now I can actually like feel the club like
the fingers working around the palms,
like a whip.
the club head working around the handle properly.
That's the whole thing, is that when you're, and also like it has a lot to do with grip pressure too, right? Like grip pressure, we say, is like one of the biggest contributors to like getting more club head speed, right?
And the big thing is when we talked about this address, when you clamp your claws to the club, you want to feel like the grip pressure in a sense is like maybe like an 8 or 9, like really clamp it and lock those elbows, and then from there drop that pressure down to like a 1 to 2. Now throughout the swing, maintain the 1 to 2 the entire swing, because once you connect the elbows properly, you have the claws perfect, you just have to maintain that formation and pressure. You don't have to in swing increase the pressure and try to like increase how much you're squeezing the club or anything like that. It's like just maintain the perfect connection you've established throughout the swing. Then we have perfect ability to create maximum control and speed of the handle and the club head.
Got it. Yeah, because the big thing we talk about too is like we're trying to create like a gear effect.
Right.
Of like when the club is coming into the ball, we're trying to feel like the club is working as fast as possible from here to here.
Exactly.
Right? And that speed is really coming from feeling like you're getting that like catapult sensation, right? Where there.
The catapult of the claws.
And that's what we're saying is basically like we're getting the fingers to like pivot around the palms,
Yes.
which is getting the club head to pivot
Correct.
around the handle.
Correct.
And then from there, just feeling that like catapult sensation.
So real
to get
quick,
the whip through.
just to showcase that one more time. So when you go back, like imagine again, we're talking about palms are controlling the handle, fingers are controlling the club head. So if he's pushing down with the palms, that maintains this awesome connection that he has established at address. And then if the fingers work back of the palms properly, he then can control the club head relative to the handle, which allows him to get this catapult of the claws and catapult of the club head around the handle, like throughout, like from pre to post impact, because everyone is like taught, or you can go on YouTube or whatever online, and there's so many things about pre to post impact. That's where the magic happens. That's where all the speed happens. But what's really going on and how is that happening? And this is how it happens.
Got it. And like in terms of my like shoulders and head, what am I trying to feel here?
So realistically, let's just say if the golf ball's here, we're gonna try to focus just behind the ball and keep your eyes looking there the entire swing. The reason why is it helps to control how the shoulders move, because if your head's looking back, the shoulders stay in tilt. That helps you basically escalate like the hand and arm like speed. Whereas if you were looking forward, go ahead and look towards target. See, now the shoulders came out of tilt. Now the release is gonna be more around his body. That's gonna cause that natural slice that we see, or even contact problems in general. But when it comes to speed, it's all about looking behind the ball to help us control how we, again, maximize the speed of the hands and arms. It's almost like trying to snap a towel.
Like
and so
a
it's
wet
almost like
towel.
you're pulling back on it to snap the tip of it. And so with the golf swing, it's the exact same thing. We're basically trying to stay looking back so that when we get this lag, we can make sure that the hands and arms can release with maximum speed. So you can tell I'm looking back. You see this with every tour player.
Got it. All right, cool. That's it one.
Nice.
All right, a little more distance there. Yeah, 265 in the air.
Yeah, only 60
We'll
yard
take that.
increase.
Yeah, only 60 yards increase.
Yep.
Small muscles opposed to big.
That's right. That's where the club
I don't
moves
have the biggest
faster.
muscles, but I can use these small ones
That's
really
right.
good. And hopefully everybody after watching this video can do the same.
That's right.